So Black Ops 7, this year's Call of Duty, has just been revealed, and in this video I want to talk you through everything we know about the game so far based on the officially released information, and then I want to do some wild speculation and start guessing things that we couldn't possibly know. So the game was revealed at the end of the Xbox showcase, and it didn't look like it was going to be a Call of Duty game at first, but then we saw the numbers room and we saw Menendez and he said David Mason, and then we finally got, the reveal that this is Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And I know there's been leaks, there always are. I choose to ignore them as best I can. I don't publish things about leaks or anything like that. Instead, I like sort of building up the hype as the marketing campaign kind of wants us to. I know it's a bit corporate and weird, but I enjoy marketing campaigns, so sue me. But we had this trailer, and in it there's also a precious small amount of gameplay. Now, this gameplay is incredibly brief, but we will break this down entirely because I think you can tell quite a lot from that, and you can speculate some super exciting things based on this gameplay that we can see here. But first of all, a little bit of a history lesson. We know, because there's some blog posts that have gone up about this as well, that this is going to be kind of a sequel to Black Ops 2. So the storyline is super confusing, but if you want to play the games in order right now, you need to play Black Ops 1, then Black Ops Cold War, then Black Ops 6, then Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 2 is kind of split between stuff that was happening before Black Ops Cold War and Black Ops 6, but some of it happens in between Black Ops Cold War and Black Ops 6, and some of it happens after Black Ops 6. It's very, very confusing. But Black Ops 2 is essentially the next game you should play before this. And in that game, one of the protagonists is David Mason, who we see here as the main character in this trailer. He's the son of Alex Mason. His codename is Section. That's sometimes how he's referred to. And in at least a part of it, he is hunting down Raul Menendez. And Menendez is trying to avenge the death of his family. He's gone kind of crazy. And in Black Ops 2, sorry, I am going to spoil the game for you. So if you want to go Black Ops 2 and then come back and watch the end of this video, do that now. Okay, we're good? Right. In Black Ops 2, Menendez ends up taking control of the US Army's drone forces and launches a kind of simultaneous attack on the US and on China. One of the weird things about Black Ops 2 is that there was a lot of choices in it. There were some optional strike missions that you could do, and then there were some choices within the game that kind of led to different endings and different results. But in the canon ending for Black Ops 2, Section, or David Mason, ends up catching up to Menendez after he's launched his drone attack and ends up killing Menendez, kind of turning him into a martyr and leading to essentially World War III. That's why Black Ops 3, which I think probably isn't canon now, but it's kind of hard to tell now, Black Ops 3 takes place much, much later, and in Black Ops 3 the world's kind of been screwed over by the wars that started off with Menendez. So in this game, Black Ops 7, it's 10 years later, so way before Black Ops 3, but it seems like David Mason is maybe having a hard time coming to terms with everything that's happened. We see drones, we see all of this destruction, so I kind of assume that maybe he's reliving his memories, he's thinking about everything that's happened and, the drone attacks on the world, maybe. And then when we see Menendez in these kind of dream sequences, maybe Menendez is real and they've changed the Black Ops 2 canon ending, so Black Ops 3 won't ever happen, but instead you actually spared Menendez's life because he does look different, he looks older, so that makes sense to me. Or maybe it's all just in David Mason's head and he's imagining what Menendez would look like when he's older. The story of Black Ops 6 had a lot of kind of mind-altering stuff and a lot of hallucinations, so I think it's pretty hard to tell at this point. But it looks like we're going to be playing as David Mason, we're going to be fighting a load of robots, and it's set in the kind of near future, 2035. But let's start thinking about the gameplay. What can we tell from all of this that's going to affect what we're actually playing? So this is the blog post that they've put live with all of this, and there's not tons of concrete information, but the wording of some of the stuff in here is a little bit strange, and I'm going to start some of the rampant speculation now, but see if you can follow my thought process here. So in the first paragraph it says, in Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Treyarch and Raven Software are bringing players the most mind-bending Black Ops ever. Developed as the next evolution of Black Ops, this is the first ever consecutive release within the series, set more than 40 years after the events of Black Ops 6. The year's 2035, and the world is on the brink of chaos, ravaged by violent conflict and psychological warfare following the events of Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 6, so that's kind of what we've been talking about. Wielding cutting-edge technology, David Mason and his team must fight back against a manipulative enemy who weaponizes fear above all else. He's basically the Scarecrow now. Matt Cox, general manager of Call of Duty, talks a bit more about the planning behind Black Ops 7's full package of content. The Black Ops universe is amazing. The creativity and imagination that goes into the storytelling, the rich character depth, and the incredible moment-to-moment gameplay. Rich character depth, really? Okay, anyway, I'll try and be good. I'll try and be positive. Across all modes is really exceptional. As a team, our vision from the start was to create a back-to-back serious experience for our players that embraced the uniqueness of the Black Ops sub-franchise. So, first interesting thing there, that apparently this was the plan all along. I mean, it kind of makes sense. These games don't just come out of nowhere. You know, the games take 2 or 3 years to make. I believe them that this was the plan all along, probably, and that maybe Infinity Ward needed more time for whatever they're building and stuff like that. But apparently that's what's happening. I think they've confirmed on Twitter as well that Raven are going to be sort of leading the campaign on this. And our first little gameplay snippet, apparently the campaign's going to be fully co-op, which is quite exciting. A co-op campaign is something Call of Duty haven't done for a long while, so I'm really excited about that we'll be able to play it together. I think that's going to make the campaign a bit more fun. Anyway, it carries on. Prepare to squad up with friends or play solo in a thrilling and innovative, oh, there we go, co-op campaign. Harness near-future weaponry. So it carries on. Prepare to squad up with friends or play solo in a thrilling and innovative co-op campaign. So there's going to be co-op. It says they're prepared to squad up. That makes me sound like it's maybe more than just 2 players. That would be really cool. Having like a 4-player co-op campaign, I think could be really interesting. But that's awesome. Harness near-future weaponry in a signature multiplayer experience packed with brand new maps and descend into the next twisted chapter of round-based zombies in the heart of the Dark Ether. So a few things we can tell from that. First of all, like I said, campaigns co-op. I think that's cool. That's a fun thing for them to do. Near-future weaponry, so not just the normal sort of AKs and M4s that we've seen for the last few titles. That's pretty cool. Signature multiplayer experience, I guess they just mean COD multiplayer. They just mean, yeah, there's going to be like the normal COD multiplayer, but packed with brand new maps. Now, it doesn't say all brand new maps. You know, we've had a couple of titles where we've had absolutely tons of brand new maps, although Modern Warfare 3, you know, we didn't really have any at launch, which kind of sucked. It's interesting they're pointing out that we are going to have new maps for it. And in terms of zombies, it's round-based, so they're not doing something like MWZ, and they're not doing something like whatever it was that Vanguard was trying to do. Doesn't rule out them doing something like Outbreak in this, but definitely there is round-based zombies, and it's going to be carrying on the Dark Ether storyline. So if any of you thought that with the Janus Towers, the next map, that we were going to be finishing off the story of the Dark Ether, we won't be. I'm sure there'll be some kind of cliffhangers. So players have a lot to look forward to later this year when Black Ops 7 releases, so it is coming this year. Matt Cox continues, it delivers the full Call of Duty package for our players, and we can't wait to show the community more of what the studio teams have been working on when we reveal later this summer. So a few things there. I've mentioned, oh, Black Ops 7's coming out this year, and you might be, oh, well, obviously. There's actually a reason I say that we'll get to later. But also then pointing out it's the full Call of Duty package. Ever since they went from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, people were like, is this kind of DLC? Is this kind of an expansion? I think looking back now, we could say, no, Modern Warfare 3 was very different to Modern Warfare 2. They're trying to say this is the same thing. You know, it's a new game. It's not just an expansion. It's not just an add-on to Black Ops 6. This is something different. So then they talk about the teaser. They say the road to Black Ops 7's reveal starts today with the official teaser. And it says cinematics shown above, but it's just a picture of this logo. But anyway, I quite like the logo, you know, instead of it being the 3 dogs, now you've got like this crazy goat and a snake. But yeah, kind of cool. Tyler Barr, head of Activision Publishing Marketing, what an exciting job. The team is looking to build on the incredible community enthusiasm and excitement we've seen in the Black Ops universe. This is the first time we're staying with the Black Ops series with back-to-back releases, so we're excited to give players a bit more time to enjoy all the live seasons and provide players more of what they want across Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty Warzone before we turn the page to Black Ops 7. Now, this is a really interesting paragraph. I think this is a really interesting quote, and I might be reading too much into it. Also, they didn't close the quotation, which is a little bit sloppy. Come on, whoever's writing these blog posts. Anyway, so what he's saying there could be read as just, oh, people love the Black Ops universe, so we're going to give people more time to enjoy all of that stuff going from Black Ops 6 to Black Ops 7. That's kind of an okay reading to it, but it's a weird way of saying it. It's a weird thing to say in the first place. I think where they're saying there, it's the first time we're staying with back-to-back releases. We're excited to give players a bit more time to enjoy all the live seasons and provide players more of what they want across Black Ops 6 and Warzone before we turn the page to Black Ops 7. Sounds a little bit to me like Black Ops 7 is going to be coming later than usual. That maybe instead of coming in, you know, the beginning of November or the end of October, which is when we normally get these games, maybe end of November, maybe beginning of December. They have said it's coming out this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe a later launch. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was because they originally thought GTA was going to come out at the end of October, like a lot of us did, and they put it back, they delayed it, and now they can't really bring it forward, so that's a bit unfair on the teams, so they've just decided, hey, let's just release it at the end of the year instead. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a later launch date for this one than the others. That's one way of reading it. Now, if that's like the first level of rampant speculation on this quote, now let's turn it up to 11. More of what they want across Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty Warzone before we turn the page to Black Ops 7. I might be crazy here, but that sounds... when they're saying like, oh, you can enjoy Black Ops 6 and then we turn the page to Black Ops 7, it's like you're closing the page. You're turning the page away from Black Ops 6, which makes sense. This is a sequel. A lot of people won't still be playing Black Ops 6 multiplayer. They'll move over to Black Ops 7 multiplayer. It's interesting that they put Warzone in here. It sounds a tiny bit to me like Warzone's going away. Which I've been saying for a while. I think that's possible, and I think it's a good idea on their part. I think Warzone's kind of built into this unmanageable thing where there's so many problems with it. There's problems with the engine, problems with cheating, problems with the UI, just lots of problems, like so many blueprints and stuff. You know, they've kind of set this expectation that all your blueprints and operators will carry over into future games, which then means whatever they do for the next game, they have to make sure it works with every single operator, every single blueprint. All the guns have to be balanced against all the other guns, all of that stuff. I still think, rather than doing like a Warzone 1 to Warzone 2, which they did before, where they kind of cut off Warzone 1, they said, oh, we'll still support it, and then they supported it for like a month and got rid of it as Warzone Caldera. I think rather than going through that again, doing that again, I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of Warzone and then called a new Call of Duty Battle Royale something new. You know, maybe Blackout 2, or maybe just something entirely new. We'll come back to this idea about Blackout in a second. Very exciting idea about Blackout. But yeah, I'm not saying that that's definitely what's happening here at all. I think it's definitely a reach, but it's really interesting that they talk about giving players more of what they want across Black Ops 6 and Warzone before they go to Black Ops 7. Just sounds a little bit like they're going to be... Black Ops 7's going to be replacing Warzone in some way. I'd be excited about that because I'm kind of fed up of Warzone. But let's see. Anyway, we'll just carry on reading this a little bit. Our official teaser sets the tone for players to embrace the madness that's incoming. So obviously madness is going to be a big part of this. BAO continues, delivering consecutive Black Ops games also allows our teams a tremendous opportunity to tap not only into our own creativity, but also embrace the shift from a 90s setting to the new 2035 future setting within our marketing. Today's only the beginning with this first teaser. The full reveal of Black Ops 7 is coming later this summer. I would assume Gamescom, that's in August. That would make sense. That's later this summer. It's a big event. Microsoft always do something for Gamescom. Would make sense. So the community should be on the lookout for teases, clues, and surprises that the Black Ops series is known for. Now, this makes me think we're going to see stuff in Warzone. You know, maybe there'll be events like the, you know Your History, which I absolutely loved. Pawn Takes Pawn. That was really, really cool. Maybe they'll do something like that again. Maybe it'll be something much more subtle like it was with the lead up to Black Ops 6. But we'll see. I would expect there to be stuff across Season 4 because the end of Season 4 takes us up to the beginning of August. So I imagine over Season 4, there's probably going to be some kind of hints about Black Ops 7 in Warzone, maybe even in Black Ops Multiplayer, maybe in Zombies. And then once we get into Season 5, they'll really kick up the gear and, you know, maybe do reveal events and stuff like that. It'd be cool if we had proper events again. That would be nice. Anyway, it's an exciting time as we prepare for a new Call of Duty reveal and the next great experience to come. And that's kind of it. Oh, it does mention there it is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Just for anyone who's wondering, this will still be last gen. That makes me think this probably isn't on a new engine or anything like that. They're probably not doing anything dramatic with the graphics or anything. The fact that it's on old gen consoles, why would they bother? Also, kind of interesting, it's not mentioned about coming to Switch. I thought as part of the deal with Microsoft acquiring Activision that they agreed to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo, but no sign of it there. Anyway, let's do some kind of frame-by-frame stuff looking at the little snippets of gameplay that they've shown. So we know this symbol here is like the Guild. We know that already. Like, this is this company that's made all of these drones and things like that I guess we're going to be fighting. Then we've got this crazy scene. So this is obviously an outdoor deserty type place, but with a giant machete stuck into it. And there's also some floating islands. Now, at the end of Black Ops 6, we had some campaign missions where you were doing some crazy stuff, jumping between floating islands, all taking place within the characters' heads as they're kind of hallucinating. Seems like that's probably what's going on here again, with the massive machete dropping down and then this red stuff pouring out of it. Kind of cool. Then there's a prison cell. Again, don't know if we can tell all that much from this. I don't think there's any kind of real hints. But this is everything. This is super interesting, I think. So, what can we see here? First of all, this is Avalon. So this is the Avalon map that lots of the Black Ops 6 campaign missions took place on, lots of the multiplayer missions took place on, and I did a video a long while ago showing that with theater mode you could actually fly around outside of the multiplayer maps and see that it looked a lot like they'd built a Warzone map. It just really did look like a Warzone map. There were ascenders on some of the buildings that don't even feature in the multiplayer map, so don't make sense to be there. There was just a kind of general layout that looked like it made sense for a Warzone map. And lots of people across this entire year have been like, where the hell is Avalon? Why haven't we had Avalon yet? Why haven't we had that as a new Warzone map? Why did we get Verdansk instead? This definitely seems to be indicating we are getting Avalon as a new, and I say this in inverted commas, Warzone map. Now, I mean, jokes aside, this probably is Warzone. They're probably sticking to Warzone. But there's something else that's really interesting in this image. Obviously, this could be a campaign image. This could be from the campaign, but you can see there's 4 people in these kind of wingsuit things. Now, in Black Ops 2's storyline, which canonically takes place before this, they did use a wingsuit type thing, but it was actually this kind of robotic set of wings that they used to fly down from super high up. Another place, though, that we've seen a wingsuit is in Blackout. Is in Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 4's Battle Royale mode Blackout, you didn't parachute in, you flew in using a wingsuit. And it was cool, it meant that you had a few more options about kind of how you got to the ground, you could travel a lot further horizontally. But I feel like they must have been thinking about that. They must have known about that connection to Blackout, of having 4 people flying in wingsuits onto a map that we know is going to be a Battle Royale map. Like, we're pretty confident it's going to be, well, what I thought was Warzone. So, what do I think this means? First of all, I'm almost certain now we will get Avalon at some point over the next year. Probably March next year we'll get it. That seems to be when they like adding these big maps. Maybe we'll just get it at launch. Maybe we'll get it whenever Black Ops 7 comes out. But I'm pretty sure we will be getting another big map, and it'll be this. It will be Avalon, just like we thought it was going to be. Now, the big question for me is this going to be Warzone, or is this going to be something else? Is this going to be Blackout 2 or something like that? Or, whatever the next Call of Duty Battle Royale would be. My head's saying it's Warzone, that it's just still more Warzone, and we'll probably have all of those terrible problems, all the same cheats will be present, we'll still have all of the operators and all of the blueprints and a million weapons, because we'll have all of the weapons from Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3 all kind of jumbled together, and Modern Warfare 2, don't we? God, we'll have 4 games. We'll have 4 games worth of weapons in this, a million operators, all of the same bugs and problems and cheats and everything. And that's really disappointing, because if that's true, a new map's exciting, but it's not really going to change things. It's not going to change the core problems that we have with Warzone. My heart wants to say they're getting rid of Warzone and this is Blackout 2, and we're going to have Blackout 2, and I'd be so excited for that. Like, that would get me genuinely really hyped about this if it's Blackout 2. We'll see. I'm sure at some point someone will point out there's like a tweet or a blog post somewhere where they're saying, hey, look at what we're doing for Warzone with Black Ops 7, and that'll ruin all of this speculation. But I did warn you there would be speculation, and my favorite bit of speculation right now is that this is showing us that we're going to be playing Blackout. That would be absolutely awesome. Maybe they're just going to add wingsuits to Warzone. That'd be kind of cool, I guess, but still a bit disappointing. Anyway, back to the trailer. So here we see this kind of attack. I think this is almost definitely just a bit from the campaign. You know, we're seeing the Marines here. I guess this is our side of it. The Marines coming and attacking this big sort of island. I think this is within Avalon, like this is within the area of Avalon. In fact, if we go back to the bit where we can see the Avalon map, there's like some areas like this that look a bit like it. I don't think they look exactly the same, but they look kind of similar. I think the trailer's trying to trick us into thinking that this shot goes neatly into the second one, but maybe it doesn't. But anyway, you've got this area and there's a big attack. Maybe that's a kill streak, but I think it's probably a campaign bit, maybe a vehicle section. Then we've got this section. This is kind of cool. It shows the kind of cloaking tech. We saw this in Black Ops 2. You could like kind of make yourself go invisible apparently within that timeline. The enemies were doing it all the time. This looks a little bit fancy in that, like the Predator tech. Nothing new for video games really. I'm sure it's going to be loads of fun in multiplayer if there's a perk that lets you go invisible or a field upgrade. But yeah, that's cool. And then this robot dog thing, I think that was, you know, a thing from Black Ops 2. I guess maybe people really liked it. I don't know. I've never heard anyone say it. I really wish they'd bring back the big robot dog things. But, you know, that's there, and it's got a big cannon, and it's got a rocket launcher on the side of it. And then here we see a little shot of zombies. Now, the really exciting thing, I guess, for some people in this is there's this kind of windmill in the background. Is this transit? You know, in transit, there were these kind of, like, big mast things, windmills, fields, out in the middle of nowhere. It's really foggy. Transit's a Black Ops 2 map. Maybe this is going to be transit coming back, you know, and the headlights could be the headlights of the bus from transit. Maybe it's one of those weird things where for years people were saying Black Ops 2 Transit was like one of the worst things ever in Call of Duty. And now for whatever reason, it's had a renaissance in people's minds. And over the last couple of years, people seem to be really excited about the idea of getting to play Transit again. But yeah, it looks a little bit transity, I think. Like, there's not much to go on here. Like, you can't see a lot of detail. But I definitely think the headlights and that big tower in the background kind of point towards transit to me, or at least vehicles within zombies. So, you know, maybe you could go the other way and say that maybe this points towards Outbreak. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But that's kind of it. That's all of the gameplay they're giving us. So still lots that we don't know about the game, lots of stuff to speculate on. Let me know in the comments what you're hoping for. Are you hoping that there's Blackout 2? Are you hoping that Transit's coming back? Are you hoping that we're going to get some really cool futuristic weaponry or some interesting stuff back from Black Ops 2? Let me know. Let's try and keep this positive for as long as possible, being hyped about a new Call of Duty. I often find is the time that I enjoy Call of Duty the most. And also, if you spot anything in Warzone or multiplayer or zombies that you think is now hinting at Black Ops 7, please let me know. Because since we've just had an update, we've just had the beginning of Season 4, I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing some little teasers of this sooner rather than later. I personally think I'm going to be looking out for that guild logo, that kind of shield logo, because that's something that they could have already put in the game and I wouldn't have noticed it. So let's keep an eye out and see what's going on. If you enjoy this and you want to see more speculation, news and updates on Black Ops 7, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.